there are few others you'll be able to find in media and entertainment who dedicate more of their time, their energy, their passion, their principles towards strengthening the relationship between our nations, and that's why Pete is going to Israel, and he too served. So give him a big round of applause for his service in uniform as well. I'm here today unapologetically, a friend of Israel, a friend of Bet El. I was here last year, and a lot can happen over the course of a year. See, if you remember, when we were here gathered last year, we would reflect on, it was 1 year before that. President Obama was lighting a candle at the White House for Hanukkah, and he was talking about the fight of the Maccabees. And yet it was just days later, right after he was lighting that menorah, talking about the fight of the Maccabees, that the United States was pushing through the United Nations a Security Council resolution that seeking essentially ethnically cleanse Judea and Samaria and East Jerusalem. How much of a difference a year makes. That as we gathered here last year, we were able to celebrate the fact that we had a new president, someone who was taking our relationship in a much stronger direction, and again, we would know that we would have a voice at the United Nations and around the world to stand shoulder to shoulder with our nation's greatest ally. We know that if UN Security Council Resolution 2234 came up to a vote, that it would be this leadership of this country that absolutely, without missing a beat, would veto it. Now, 2334 isn't all news, but a lot has happened since we gathered here a year ago. As Pete just mentioned, now we are able to celebrate that our embassy has moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I was honored to be there. It wouldn't have happened without President Donald Trump. How much difference a year makes that when you have Palestinian terrorists murdering innocent Israelis, we United States taxpayers say that our funds should not be going to fund that bad behavior. Yet now, fast forward 1 year since last year's dinner, the Taylor Force Act has been passed by Congress and signed by the President of the United States. This has been a busy year. Last year, as we gathered, we were still stuck in this fatally flawed Iran nuclear deal. But now it's torn up. The right move for the United States and Israel, the Iran nuclear deal, is no more. And if you remember, when we gathered here last year, one of our other speakers was a congressman. Now he's a former congressman. He's the governor-elect of Florida, Ron DeSantis. What a big difference a year makes. Now, when Pete mentioned that I was one of two Jewish Republicans, you were not sure whether or not to clap to that. Because what I was hoping, what a big difference a year would make is that I would be able to talk about how our numbers have grown. There are still just two Jewish Republican members of Congress. So we have to work on that maybe for a couple years down the road. But I'll tell you what, I unapologetically, and we all the honorees who are here, the guest speakers, all of you, we are unapologetic about our principles, our beliefs, our faith. And we know that there's nothing to be apologetic or neutral about. When Palestinian terrorists murder innocent Israelis, there's nothing to be apologetic or neutral about. When Hamas is launching 500 rockets into Israel, when they're using innocent women and children as human shields, paying them money for being shot by Israelis, there's nothing to be neutral or apologetic about when we are tested. When our young men and women are going to schools all across this country and suffering from the boycott, divestment, and sanctions effort, where a map of the Middle East is put up on the board, and there is, where it should say Israel, says Palestine. And I hear these stories from students not just telling about one professor, but many professors. There's nothing to be neutral about. So my message is this, for the incoming freshmen who support the BDS movement. For those in Congress who believe that support of Israel should be bipartisan, I agree that the support of Israel should be bipartisan, and this is how we do it. 100% standing shoulder to shoulder, we support our great ally, Israel, and we do not let up. And the only way it ever can become partisan is if you ever give in to our nation's greatest ally in Israel. I'm leaving an office in the Longworth House office building now, and the incoming member is from Pete's great state of Minnesota. It's a new Muslim representative who supports the BDS movement, who is in favor of the Palestinians with anti-Israeli positions. I'm thinking about leaving my mezuzah up on the walls, by the way. My message to her, to those who wrap themselves in a Palestinian flag on election night: know that the right thing in American politics, the right thing for American national security, the right thing for our future, is to understand there is nothing neutral about when tested. And we know that an attack on Israel is an attack on the United States, and we know that our duty, when we raise our hand and we take that oath to the Constitution of this great nation, is to continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you who are here today on this first night of Hanukkah, thinking in our hearts and our prayers, in our minds, those who are in harm's way abroad. And from there, as they are here, as I see Channel 7 represented, the message back home is that here in the United States, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, are praying, each and every one of you, to say Happy Hanukkah, Chag Sameach. We stand in that foxhole with you, and we will never let you down. We love you, we pray for you, and you will live for thousands of years longer. God bless.